It's an Arch production. What if I told you that you've been brainwashed? Forced to subconsciously do or think about things that the real you would never do. That is a frightening thing to become aware of. Though obviously, I'm just trying to sound dramatic here to get you hooked into my video. There is no way that the majority of the West is continuously being brainwashed by multi-million-dollar companies. Technology simply hasn't reached that dangerous level of control yet. And no one is able to manipulate or program thoughts into your head. But if that is the case, why did that sound trigger a connection? If that sound did not trigger anything for you, consider yourself one of the lucky ones. Perhaps you don't watch a lot of TV and don't listen that often to the radio to notice the increasingly obnoxious advertisement campaigns. Nonetheless, you can't completely avoid them. They are in your favorite YouTube videos, in the email, all over the streets, and even in your go-to games. Advertisements are everywhere, and they have been here for a really long time, dating all the way back to the early days of the ancient Egyptians. That means ads had a small 5,000 years to evolve and become ever more intrusive. Of course, because of the massive, almost uncontrolled growth of our society that happened in the past 100 years, advertisements are at an all-time effective. However, don't let this word deceive you. An effective advertisement campaign in nowadays society is not something to applaud anymore. They have got to the point where they use the practices of NLP therapists to practically program the average Joe to become a consumer. Is it morally acceptable to produce such advertisements? And how bad will the advertisement issue become in 50 years from now on? But the most burning question of them all, where do we draw the line? Have you ever noticed that at exactly this point in a video, every YouTuber ever starts an advertisement? It's not one big, wicked conspiracy theory. It is actually a term of agreement between the YouTubers and the advertisement agencies. They call it a pre-roll, an advertisement before the video really starts, effectively causing the YouTuber to force his audience to watch it, if they want to find out what the video is about. It's not unnatural that YouTubers accept offers from advertisement agencies. It's honestly dirt easy money. Before I started this channel about 2 months ago, I used to actively upload on my previous main channel called Archmetin, where I also did advertisements in my videos. I know, how dare I commit such a sin, but hopefully it makes a lot more sense why I and others are practically forced to accept them if I explain the unspoken, almost toxic side of YouTube content creation. Most YouTubers have no other choice than to accept advertisements. If you are a gaming YouTuber in, for example, the Valorant scene, your audience is most of the time around the age of 16. On top of that, at least what I noticed with my Valorant channel, is that you have a lot of people watching from India. Now, don't get me wrong, I and others appreciate every subscriber of theirs equally. But unfortunately, advertisement companies do not. The combination of a younger audience together with people from a relatively poor country resulted me on my Archmetin channel generating around €1 to €1.50 per 1,000 views. To put that into perspective, I did 10 months of Valorant content on that channel, where I and my creative team spent full-time hours making custom content. And altogether, we racked up a total of 5.9 million views. Sounds impressive. But if we calculate how much I made from that, it's not even $9,000. On average, I made €885 per month. To put that into perspective, minimum wage over here is almost €2,000 per month. So being far from close to minimum wage would be an understatement. There is no sane way that a YouTuber that doesn't generate millions on millions of views on their channel can live off just YouTube advertisements. Now, try to imagine like you are a YouTuber. One day, you get an email. Dear whatever your name is, blah de blah de blah, we are interested in securing a 60-second advertisement in your video for $2,000? A single advertisement for $2,000? Hold on guys. But the most burning question of them all, where do we draw the line? But first I have to tell you guys about this super awesome mobile game that I will absolutely never play, Great Shadow Operators. Oh my god, look at the insane graphics compared to Far Cry 2. Not to mention the game, it has an autoplay function, so you don't have to play the game anymore. Not sure why they want me to promote this, but if you use my code, you get 2 bazillion diamonds, which sounds like an awesome deal, but you will burn through them just to reach level 2. Download this fake advertisement that for legal reasons has absolutely nothing to do with similarly named obnoxious mobile game that I by all means have not mentioned up to this point. And now back to the video. And now back to the video. Notice how the entire video is now just an incoherent mess? I started with the classic arch intro, chill second part, but then hit you with a sponsor part that completely ruined the vibe of the video. This is why I haven't done any advertisement on this channel. Yet. I do not need a lot of money right now, and the low living costs I have are covered by the money I got so far from my free videos, and, not to mention, my generous Patreon supporters. But other channels might not be that lucky. If they have a kid, or worse, a girlfriend, they have to spend a lot more money per month to get around. In that case, you simply cannot refuse any advertisement that comes your way. What I'm trying to say here is that people shouldn't go too hard on their favorite YouTuber who suddenly throws an advertisement in his video. I know most of them can't publicly say this as they will lose on potential partnerships, but they, 9 out of 10 times, don't give a single damn about the product that they are advertising. They are simply forced to do so. At least, if they wish to continue to create awesome content for their audiences. This little rant was just something I briefly wanted to touch upon, and simultaneously a great segue into the sponsor of this Nah, I'm just playing around. But it is a great segue into a somewhat disturbing analysis of a specific mobile game that I, for legal reasons, have not mentioned up to this point at all in this video, please don't sue me, Raid Shadow Legends. They've been promoting the same boring advertisement format for over 4 years now. While being extremely annoying, it also means that they must be doing something right, don't they? Otherwise they wouldn't still have an insane budget for their ad campaign. So what is that thing they do or have that makes their boring, repetitive advertisement so effective? The goal of an advertisement is to sell their product to the viewer. To do this, the ad has to meet 2 criteria. It has to be memorable, and it needs a good call to action. If we solely make the ad memorable, it's not going to motivate people to actually buy the product. But if an ad has a good call to action, but nothing memorable about it, it's going to be hard to keep the customer engaged to do what the ad suggests they should do. Let's talk about a very memorable ad with a somewhat poor call to action. And to prove it is memorable, I'm going to say 2 completely unrelated words that will trigger the name of the product in your head. Saw and boat. That's right, flex tape. Presented by no other than the man, the myth, the legend, Phil Swift. Multiple times he sawed a boat in half and fixed it with only flex tape and its other products, just to drive the boat into the middle of the ocean to prove it's actually waterproof. In one of their recent advertisements of theirs, they even built an entire house, applied their protective products onto it, and then tried to flood it with Phil still inside. That is some kind of content that is on level with Mr. Beast. Every single advertisement of flex tape is fun and, most importantly, memorable stuff to watch. Not to mention, it's been 6 years since their original flex tape advertisement, and in those 6 years they racked up a total of 32 million views on a single video. In total, their entire channel got a massive 430 million views. So I don't know about you guys, but that has to be one of the most successful advertisement campaigns known to man, right? Well, kinda. But it could have been so much better. I mentioned before that to make an effective ad, it has to be both memorable and needs an effective call to action. The call to action is almost always at the end of the advertisement. So let's take a look at the final 10 seconds of the Flex Seal ad.
Just cut, peel, stick and seal.
Imagine everything you can do with the power of flex tape.
It's missing that final touch that gets people moving and actually buy their product. Hit us with the buy 3 get a 4th one for free kind of deal. Or if you buy it now, you get 20% off the next flex tape roll. They got our attention, but what makes me want to get up from my seat to actually get their product? If you are watching the advertisement on YouTube, in about 3 seconds autoplay gets me to watch the next video. Or on the television, it's basically 0 seconds before the TV provider switches to the next advertisement. They have to throw something within their ad that immediately gets you to think about buying solely their product. If anything, by ending their advertisement with the many do-it-yourself projects that you could work on, they promote the duct tape industry as a whole. And why would I buy flex tape if I can buy one of the many cheaper alternatives? Surely with enough cheaper duct tape, I too can escape my monotone life and become a pirate. So Phil Swift, please fix. On the opposite side of the spectrum is, not previously mentioned, Raid Shadow Legends. Their call to action is incredible. You get $35 worth of free stuff by simply clicking a link in that video's description. Humans love free stuff, so hundreds of thousands of people will and have fallen for the call to action. Fallen for it? That sounds a bit negative, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Because their call to action technique is, quite frankly, not completely honest. If you sign up with my creator code blah blah blah, you get $35 worth of free items. The nice thing about a controlled economy is being able to choose what's worth what. In Raid's recent advertisement campaign, they had a sign-up package worth $35 that consisted of an epic champion, 200,000 silver, an energy refill, an XP boost, and an ancient shard. This altogether equals $35. But does it really? Through their in-game store, it probably is. But this might as well be worth $5. There is no official value tied to the products in their own digitalized world. The only ones who can decide how much that package is truly worth are the developers. If they decide to make the energy refill and XP boost thrice as expensive, this bundle suddenly becomes $55. Make that epic champion suddenly really expensive as well, or really hard to get, and this bundle is now worth $80. If you click this link, you get $80 worth of free stuff. I mean, it's technically true, but like we just discovered, also not really. That is why I like to label call to actions from games similar to Raid kind of scummy. But in the current day and age, where it's hard to get the spoiled customer to do basically anything, maybe being scummy is the way to gain new customers through call to actions. Hey, you wanna know what else is scummy? That I lied to you. I called Raid the other side of the spectrum of flex tape, but that is simply not true, because I never had to explain to you what Raid Shadow Legends is. You already know what it is. It's an effective advertisement. In some weird way, Raid accomplished exactly what flex tape did in terms of memorability, without picking up boulders with just glue or making boats out of broken glass. Introducing the disturbing power of money. Do you know what the definition of insanity is? It's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. But if that is really the case, does that mean we should call the marketing department of Raid insane? Because they have been doing the exact same thing for 4 years in a row now. And with every season of new advertisements, they expect an ever bigger growth. So doing the same thing over and over again, in this case telling them again and again about the game with the exact same sentences, might actually also be the definition of success, not just insanity. Here's a question for you. Why do you watch YouTube videos? For some of you, it might be because you want to learn something. For others, it's to kill some time. But one thing that everyone has in common is that they watch videos to enjoy themselves and to just have some fun doing otherwise kind of boring things. Like while eating breakfast, chilling in the bus, or even being on the shitter. Seriously, try to think about the last time you ate breakfast while not watching YouTube, TikTok or Instagram. Watching videos has simply become a part of our daily routine. And why we do it is actually quite simple. Dopamine. Almost everybody on this planet is addicted to dopamine. Luckily for us, it's not something we actually have to buy off the streets. Instead, our brain automatically injects it into us when we do something pleasurable, like eating junk food, consuming a dangerous amount of sugar, or watching a fun video. Now, whether you like it or not, you don't have complete control over your own body. Your subconscious does take some tasks away from you, like breathing. Imagine if you always had to manually breathe, manually think about how to move your legs, or even how fast your heart should beat to pump enough blood around. It's a lot of things that we luckily aren't aware of. Same with releasing dopamine. Your subconscious makes sure you get a small but enjoyable amount of dopamine released into your body. This is where NLP comes into play. I briefly mentioned NLP early in the video. NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And as a disclaimer, it is a pseudoscience. This means that everything I'm about to tell you has no scientific backing. But in my opinion, science isn't always the answer. Last year, I took a 3-month course where I learned a lot about the world of NLP and its, frankly, amazing practices. Now, why am I telling you this? One of the NLP exercises had to do with connecting thoughts with your feelings in an attempt to trigger a powerful emotion on the go. And I think the best way to explain it to you is in a form of an exercise. All you have to do is listen to my voice and follow my guide. Okay, close your eyes and think about a moment in your life where you felt incredibly powerful. And once again, feel that power flow through you once more. Now, while you enjoy that power, you visualize that you have a hammer in your hand. So with your dominant hand, make a gesture like you're holding a hammer. And really hold on to that hammer with all your strength. And now you let all that power through your body from that memory flow into that hammer. And finally, take a deep breath. And out. And open your eyes and you're awesome. That's right, we just did an NLP practice. I have to admit, it's a lot harder to do it through a video than to do it in person, but if you manage to feel that power flow through your body and pour it into a hammer, it was a success. Because whenever the moment arises where you have to stand up for yourself, do not grab an actual hammer, because that might extremely escalate the situation. But instead, make that gesture in your hand again, like you are wielding a hammer. It will help you stand your ground better. Anyway, essentially what we just did is connect an emotion with an object. We connected power with a hammer. That being said, watching a good video makes you feel happy. And depending on the season, that good video of yours starts with Raid Shadow Legends. So, good video that makes you feel happy, aka gives you a dopamine hit, contains Raid Shadow Legends. Good video that gives dopamine contains Raid Shadow Legends. Good video contains Raid Shadow Legends. This is the power of doing the same thing over and over again. By putting the advertisement in every video ever, and on top of that having the YouTubers say the same lines, Raid effectively drilled its way into your subconscious and programmed it to associate it with one of the many things that gives you a dopamine hit. That being in this case, a good video. Raid is not the only advertisement that tries to associate itself with emotions. Every professionally thought out advertisement makes use of it. If I am tasked with selling diapers to the average mom, I would do it like this.
8-1. Go ahead and disregard the chase. We got him.
Arch diapers. For a peaceful night. Buy one, get the second half off for even more peaceful nights. Arch diapers. See what I did here? Annoying sound in the beginning that even annoys the viewer. Show a mom that is slowly turning mad. We then show my deluxe diapers brand. Diapers are being put on a baby, baby stops crying, and mom is happy and has a nice quiet afternoon. Then once more we show the Arch diapers. And finally, the call to action. You have to buy it now to get it cheaper, otherwise you will lose out. It's memorable because it associates itself with the feeling of annoyance, and simultaneously, peaceful relief when the baby finally goes to sleep. And it's a good call to action that gets every single mom in my area to actually go out and buy the product, because we created the sense of urgency. If we play this advertisement for 30 days straight every single night on the television, the next time that mom hears her baby cry again, she might associate it with going out to buy those comfortable Arch diapers. And that is how you can program thoughts into an audience's mind. If you are not aware of their practices, you will easily fall prey to their techniques. But now that you are aware of it, you are hopefully going to save a lot of money each month by no longer buying their overpriced, overrated products. And instead go for a cheaper and, most of the time, even better alternative for that product. To be honest, the advertisement industry is something that I didn't really care a lot about, till I started researching for this video. And now I finally understand why there are so many advertisements out there, Let's start with something that has absolutely nothing to do with the product that they end up advertising. They do it in an attempt to trigger an emotion, aka set up a link in your subconscious. 20 years ago, advertisements were a lot simpler. This is the product, you can use it for this, and that is why you need to buy it, buy now. That is definitely a lot simpler than trying to sneakily program their audience. This, however, sparks a concerning question. Where are advertisements heading? Where do we see ads in 20 years from now? Or how about in the year 2077? Cyberpunk is a world of corporates. At least, that's what I think is going on. It's hard to think clearly with all these ads pasted around. From simple street signs to entire billboards glued onto buildings. The world of Cyberpunk is completely littered with ads. They even managed to project their advertisements into the sky, which is evident if you appreciate the city skyline at night. It's almost beautiful if it wasn't concerning. Could this be where our society is heading towards? I know, Cyberpunk is a more pessimistic look on the future of our society. But being pessimistic doesn't automatically mean unrealistic. For example, using the sky as a marketing billboard isn't something that hasn't happened yet. Last year in November, New York residents found over 500,000 drones in the sky promoting Candy Crush. And in China, drone advertising has been a thing since 2018. Society is slowly reaching a point where even the peaceful night sky can be used to project a massive M. Or rather, straight into our faces. Soon everyone will have AR glasses. Glasses that a lot of the citizens from Night City also, coincidentally, are addicted to, and something that is in early development here in our timeline. If you have ever watched a football match, or soccer for the Americans, you might notice that there are always ads being displayed on the sidelines of the field. Fun fact is, they are actually localized advertisements. Depending on which country you are watching the match from, the advertisement will be entirely different. By solely doing a little research, you will notice that all the dystopian advertising techniques that seem so fake and unachievable are already here, though in early development. Same with the uncomfortable amount of sexuality that is involved in the advertisements and world of Cyberpunk in general. Have you ever wondered why every unregulated anime site is littered with, those kind of advertisements? It has, once again, to do with dopamine. The number one thing that just overflows our system with dopamine is... Can I say this on YouTube? Disclaimer, this is an educational video, YouTube reviewer. So yeah, the number one thing that just overflows our system with dopamine is sex. That very sussy ad next to your anime player is something that everyone has and will click on. There's no shame in admitting it. Everybody has done it at least once. After all, a sexual advertisement is the pinnacle of abusing the fact that we love dopamine. Unfortunately, the sad truth is that they are all massive clickbait. But in the cyberpunk future, where you can get the weirdest thing you want to happen to you, but then tries us wrong, those ads really are linked to your true dopamine hits. Sex sells, it's as simple as that. And CD Projekt Red, the developers of Cyberpunk, are aware of it. That is why over half the advertisements in their game are just not really safe for work images. Most interestingly, like I discussed in my previous video where having the best everything equals in unsatisfiable standards, those not safe for work ads don't really work on the majority of the citizens in Night City anymore. Our brain only gives a dose of dopamine if we do something pleasurable. If we do something that we have already done a couple 20 times or so, it won't hit the same way anymore. And when the product of the ad doesn't give some kind of dopamine to the viewer, it won't be memorable. And if it isn't memorable, it won't be an effective ad. And if it isn't effective, they won't make any money anymore. So the only thing advertisers can do is to make it even more ungodly and morally wrong to try to squeeze out the remaining dopamine left to drain from our brains. A state where no amount of dopamine can make us feel happy anymore. Humans who reach this state are stuck in a downward spiral of depression and anxiety. There is nothing left for them to be happy about. It's not really a topic I really want to talk about in this video, but if you are interested, I would really recommend the book Dopamine Nation. It shines light on the unspoken danger that we are heading towards because of our uncontrolled growth of technology. Hopefully, you now understand why companies try to meme their product in an attempt to stimulate the community to meme it even more. When Raid became a meme, they won. They successfully had the most monotone standard advertisement chained with the emotion of joy, which results in also known as the word of the day, dopamine. Now, before I conclude the video, I want to brainstorm about the most successful ads that humans could possibly make. Friendly reminder that successful and effective aren't always positive words. Here is my suggestion, or answer rather. The most memorable ad would definitely be something trauma-inducing. As in Ronald McDonald abducting you and torturing you for a couple days in a row. It's something you would definitely never forget. I'm not sure how effective the call to action would be, because I don't think telling the tortured person to enjoy a Happy Meal would excite them anymore. But then again, I guess if they threaten to McCant your family if you don't eat a Happy Meal every day, it would be an effective call to action. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section what you would think would be the most successful advertisement. To finalize this video, the development of advertisements is something we should definitely keep an eye on. If we let it spiral out of control with unregulated laws and rules, it might just turn our world into the one of Cyberpunk, where depression and anxiety controls the streets rather than the drug dealers. To be honest, it's already getting kinda bad. I have a Xiaomi phone or whatever it's called, and whenever I go into settings or download an app, I get an ad from the operating system itself. I guess we really are approaching the first step to stuffing our lives with ads and ads on end. But that's about it for this video. Like always, I highly suggest commenting your thoughts and experiences in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching the entirety of this lengthy video, and keep going. Shoutouts to my beautiful Patreons, Aura, who single-handedly defeated Obama in chess, Bunkered, who has 80 million power in Great Shuttle Operators, Marcy38, the triumphant successor of Marcy37, Christian VR, a man of God who has been stuck in VR for a whopping 3 months now, David Dimitrascu, who should consider changing the Dimitrascu part of his name, Marka 301, and the 301 stands for confirmed kills during his last tour, Puppet, who can't stop messaging in my Discord, Scope, the dude who you fight before you meet the true final boss, and Unlucky, the not-so-successful sequel of Wall-E. If you want to be shouted out, check out the Patreon link in the description. And that's it. Take care now.